Who would guard a dead man? Why would Rome seal a tomb like a crime scene? And why were religious leaders still afraid? After the cross was empty of breath, imagine a grave so heavily guarded because its occupant had promised to rise. A stone rolled in place, not to keep thieves out, but to keep hope buried. The disciples were scattered. The city was silent. The body lay still. No crowds, no miracles, no witnesses, just soldiers, a sealed tomb, and a promise that refused to die. They believed the stone was the end. They believed death had won. They believed morning would come like every other morning, but before the sun rose, before anyone came looking, before a single human eye could see, the grave was already defeated. This is not the story of how Jesus died. This is the moment the world didn't see. The moment death lost its grip. The moment the stone became a witness. The stone lay sealed against the mouth of the tomb, its weight final, its presence a declaration that death had spoken the last word. The Roman seal pressed into the wax bore the authority of empire, and the guards stood watch with practiced indifference, their spears grounded, their cloaks drawn tight against the chill of the approaching night. Inside the tomb, the body of Jesus of Nazareth lay wrapped in linen, bound according to custom, anointed hastily before the Sabbath began. The air was still. Silence reigned. To all appearances, the story had ended. Jerusalem settled uneasily into the Sabbath. Lamps were lit in homes, prayers were spoken, and bread was broken. Yet beneath the rituals lay a trembling uncertainty. The city had not forgotten the darkness that had covered the land, or the earth that had shaken beneath the cross. Many tried to quiet their thoughts, to suppress the memory of the torn temple veil, to dismiss the unsettling feeling that something unfinished lingered in the air. The religious leaders rested, believing their problem resolved. The disciples hid, scattered and fearful, their hope buried behind stone and seal. Night deepened, and the tomb remained untouched. The guards spoke little. One of them, older than the rest, shifted his weight uneasily. He had witnessed executions before, had heard the cries of the dying and the mockery of crowds, yet this crucifixion had been different. The condemned man had spoken words of forgiveness, not curses. He had died too quickly. The earth had responded as if in grief. The soldier shook his head, dismissing the thoughts as superstition, yet his grip on his spear tightened. Inside the tomb, the body lay unmoving, but death did not reign as it always had. What human eyes could not see, heaven knew. The silence was not emptiness, but anticipation. Creation itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for a moment ordained before time began. As the hours passed and the night gave way to the faintest hint of dawn, the boundary between heaven and earth trembled. The tomb, meant to imprison death's victim, stood at the threshold of victory. The stone, so carefully rolled into place, had become a witness rather than a barrier. Suddenly, the earth shook. It was not the violent convulsion of judgment, but a deliberate, commanding tremor, as though the ground itself recognized the presence of its maker. Light pierced the darkness, not the pale light of morning, but a brilliance that shattered shadow. An angel of the Lord descended, his appearance like lightning, his garments white as snow. The guards froze in terror. Their training abandoned them, their courage dissolved. They fell to the ground as dead men, overwhelmed by a power beyond any they had known. The angel did not come to move the stone for the sake of the one inside. The stone was rolled away, for the sake of those who would come to see. With effortless authority, he pushed it aside and sat upon it, a silent proclamation that death had lost its claim. Inside the tomb, the moment arrived. Life surged where death had ruled. Breath returned to lungs that had been stilled. The heart that had been pierced began to beat again, steady and strong. The wounds remained, not as marks of defeat, but as trophies of love. Jesus rose, not as one escaping death, but as one who had conquered it. The linen wrappings fell away, lying where they had been, no longer needed. The folded face cloth rested apart, a quiet sign of order and intention. He stood, whole and alive, the fullness of divine life radiating through resurrected flesh. The tomb could not contain him. He stepped into the light of the dawn, the firstborn from the dead, the beginning of a new creation. The angel remained, awaiting the arrival of the women who had prepared spices in sorrow, expecting only to tend a corpse. Mary Magdalene walked quickly, her heart heavy, her thoughts fixed on loss. With her came Mary, the mother of James and Salome, their arms carrying what love could offer when hope was gone. They spoke quietly among themselves, wondering who would roll the stone away, unaware that heaven had already answered their question. When they arrived, the sight stopped them short. The stone was moved. The guards were gone. Fear and confusion warred within them. Drawing closer, they saw the angel, and terror seized them. But the angel spoke, his voice steady and clear. "Do not be afraid," he said. "You seek Jesus, who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Come, see the place where he lay." They entered the tomb, their steps hesitant, their breath shallow. The space that had held death now held only signs of departure. The linens lay empty, the air filled with a holiness that stirred awe and wonder. The words of Jesus, spoken long before, echoed in their minds. "Rising on the third day, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." What had seemed impossible now stood before them as truth. "Go quickly," the angel continued, "and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead. He is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him." The women fled the tomb, fear and great joy mingling in their hearts. Their feet moved faster than their thoughts, driven by urgency and wonder. Along the way, he met them. Jesus stood before them, alive, real, radiant. "Greetings," he said, and his voice carried the warmth they remembered. They fell at his feet, grasping him, overwhelmed by joy and reverence. He did not withdraw. He received their worship, affirming what heaven already knew. Death had not won. Love had. "Do not be afraid," he told them. "Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." Meanwhile, the guards, shaken from their stupor, stumbled back into the city. Their report spread quickly among the chief priests and elders. The truth terrified them more than any lie. If Jesus had risen, everything changed. Authority, control, certainty, all were threatened. They gathered in hurried council and decided to suppress the truth with silver. The soldiers were paid to say the disciples had stolen the body while they slept. It was a weak story, but fear makes people cling to weak things. The lie spread, even as the truth walked the earth. Mary Magdalene returned to the tomb alone, grief resurfacing in the confusion of events. She stood outside, weeping, unable to reconcile what she had seen with what she felt. Peering into the tomb again, she saw 2 angels seated where Jesus' body had been. "Woman, why are you weeping?" they asked. "They have taken my Lord away," she replied, "and I do not know where they have put him." Turning, she saw a man standing there, whom she supposed to be the gardener. "Sir," she said, If you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." "Mary," he said. At the sound of her name, recognition dawned. "Rabboni," she cried, reaching for him. "Do not hold on to me," Jesus said gently, "for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary went, her sorrow transformed into proclamation. She told the disciples what she had seen and heard, though many struggled to believe. Grief had trained their hearts to expect loss, not victory. That same day, 2 disciples walked toward Emmaus, their conversation heavy with disappointment. They spoke of Jesus as one who had been, not one who was. He joined them on the road, though their eyes were kept from recognizing him. He listened to their sorrow, then spoke, unfolding the scriptures, revealing how the Messiah had to suffer before entering his glory. Their hearts burned within them, stirred by truth long hidden. When they reached the village and sat to eat, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and gave it to them. In that moment, their eyes were opened. They recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. Without delay, they returned to Jerusalem, their weariness forgotten, their steps fueled by joy. That evening, the disciples gathered behind locked doors, fear lingering despite the reports. Suddenly, Jesus stood among them. "Peace be with you," he said. They were startled, thinking they saw a spirit, but he showed them his hands and his side. He ate with them, grounding their wonder in reality. This was no illusion. This was resurrection. He breathed on them and spoke of forgiveness, of sending, of the Spirit who would come. Thomas was absent, and when he heard the others' testimony, doubt hardened his heart. He would not believe unless he touched the wounds himself. A week later, Jesus returned. The doors were locked again, but nothing could bar him. "Peace be with you," he said, then turned to Thomas. "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas fell to his knees. "My Lord and my God." Jesus smiled, not in rebuke but in grace. "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen, and yet have believed." In the days that followed, Jesus appeared again and again, by the sea, on the mountain, in quiet moments of restoration. He cooked breakfast for weary fishermen. He restored Peter with 3 affirmations of love, healing the wounds of denial. He spoke of the kingdom, of power from on high, of a mission that would carry the good news to the ends of the earth. The resurrection was not merely an event. It was the beginning of a new reality. Death no longer had the final word. Sin no longer held absolute power. Hope, once crucified, now stood alive, calling humanity into reconciliation with God. When he ascended, blessing them with uplifted hands, he did not leave them abandoned. His presence remained, carried by the Spirit, alive in the hearts of those who believed. The stone remained rolled away, a silent testimony to a truth that could not be undone. The tomb stood empty, not as a monument to death, but as a doorway to life. And the resurrection continued, not only in the risen body of Christ, but in every transformed life that followed, bearing witness to the dawn that broke beyond the stone.